John Stratton, Superintendent of Hernando County Schools, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Superintendent's Roundtable. Today we're joined with Director of Transportation, Ralph Leith. Welcome, Ralph.
Thank you.
We're getting ready to start the school year, so we wanted to ask Ralph about our transportation department and the services that we provide our parents and our students. So, Ralph, we wanted to ask you, are all students eligible for transportation?
Not all students are eligible. We have to go by state statute. State statute determines what the reasonable walking distance is for our students. And then the Florida Administrative Code will define that as being 2 or more miles from the student's residence to the school.
So how would the parents be notified by the transportation department of their child's transportation information?
We have completed our routing for this year. This week, and Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, we'll be mailing out our postcards that will have their stop information, will have their pickup time, drop-off time, and their route number. So postcards will be mailed, and they should be receiving them probably the first week of August, the first full week of August.
Tell us a little bit about how bus stops are assigned for students.
We use the legal address from our student information system. So if a parent has moved over the summer, it's important that they contact their school and update that information with their school. That's what we use, is their legal address that's provided every night. We get a download from our student information system into our routing program, and then we assign them to the closest area stop or neighborhood stop to their residence.
Can a student use multiple stop locations?
No, we by board policy, we ask them to use the same stop AM and PM. It helps that we don't have any confusions with the drivers, that we know where the students are, that they're using the same stop AM and PM. That way we can make sure that the students are safe.
And how might a parent go about requesting a change in their pickup or drop-off location? We
realize that there's some challenges that some of the parents have, and maybe they don't like the distance their student has to walk, or the travel to the stop, back and forth to the stop. And so what on our district website, we have a request change request form, and we will they can fill that out and submit that to us. It will take us a while to get to that, honestly, because we have to go through our the normal procedures of checking on our late buses, finding out if we have room on buses, and letting the dust settle before we can really start looking at that, because we're really concerned about getting the new students who are have come into the district or have moved, to make sure they're assigned to their stops first before we start and begin looking at the changes.
And as a parent, how might I find information on my child's bus stop?
There's 2 ways. You can go to our district website on the transportation page, and there's a stop locator form where you can go in and you can type in your address with your school and the grade of your student, and it will give you the closest existing stop to your residence. Or you can always contact the transportation office, and our customer service representatives will be there to assist you by looking up that information. Especially during the first couple weeks of school, we'll have a lot of volunteers that will be helping to man the phones, because there'll be a high volume calls at that time.
So what time should students be at their bus stops in the morning?
We request they be there at least 5 minutes before their scheduled bus arrival time, preferably 10 minutes, but no later than 5 minutes.
And do we have a notification process if a bus is running late?
Yes, we have. There's 2 methods that we use. Our district website has what we call the late bus report, and it notifies parents and schools if a bus is running 20 minutes or more late. And then we have the bus bulletin, which is our parent notification system, that when one of the buses or routes say they are running late, or there's an incident on the bus, then we can send a text message or voicemail or both to the parent. They just need to sign up, and we encourage them to do that. It's a great tool that we have that can notify the parents for the late buses or any incidents that happen They just go to our district page and then follow the link to the bus bulletin, and we'll be glad to. And I'll set them up, and it'll help them to receive notification.
And is that an app?
It is an app.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good. So there are certain guidelines and procedures we have in place when it comes to the afternoon drop-off for certain aged elementary students. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're very concerned about safety for all of our students, but especially our youngest students. So the procedure is if you have a student that is kindergarten or pre-K through second grade, you're required to meet the bus because we won't release your student off and let them off by themselves. We need to have either the parent, a guardian, or designated adult that the parent has placed on the registration card, so that we release them to the proper individual. We request that you come to the bus stop, to the bus door, to greet your student and have them leave off the bus with you, just for a matter of safety, especially first month of school, because our bus operators learn your students and learn you as the parent or the designee, so that they know who they're releasing them to. Or if you have multiple students on the bus and you would like your youngest to go with your oldest sibling, there's a form on our district website. They'll give you a waiver where they can release them to and let them all walk home together.
So what is the parent responsibility zone?
Parent responsibility zone is a term that we kind of came up with. It's for those students who live less than 2 miles from the school. They're not eligible for transportation. The responsibility for getting them to school really falls upon the parent. It could be, because we're not going to dictate that. If they want to put them in after-school care or a carpool or have a walking school bus, whatever they choose to do. But that's what we kind of determined, just to kind of help to emphasize that the responsibility really falls upon them to get their student to and from school.
And I'm aware of the 2 mile rule, and that's what you're referring to within the 2 miles is the parent responsibility zone. Is there anything a parent can do to request transportation within that zone?
Yes, we have a space available form application that they can go to our district website on our transportation page and fill out and submit to us. It's for those students who live less than 2 miles from the school, and we review those. We usually wait until after Labor Day before we start reviewing those, because we have a big process as we begin school because we know we'll probably have some overloads on some of our buses. We know we're going to have some late buses. And the times that is in the routing program is not really going to match as closely as we had hoped for. So we have to go through and we have to make sure that we work out all of those concerns first. And then also on top of that, assigning the eligible students who have moved over the summer, get that all settled, let the dust settle, and then we begin seeing where we have room on the buses so that we can start filling those seats up. Now, we don't create stops within the parent responsibility zone. We use the existing stops that's in the 2 mile zone or the neighborhood zone, and the parent would be responsible to get them to that stop location.
And what if one of our community members wanted to become a bus driver? What do they need to do, and who do they need to contact?
They need to just go onto the district website and under jobs, and we even have a link on our on the main page if you're looking for a bus driver. We need bus drivers. We're always in need of bus drivers. It's a very rewarding job, but they can submit their application. Then our safety and training specialist who does all of our training will contact them, bring them in for an interview, and then they can, once they go and obtain their CDL permit and their passenger and school bus endorsement, then we bring them in to train them through 2 or 3 weeks of training. We train them on all the buses that we have, and then once they have passed, then their test, and they've tested out through their CDL requirements that is needed, then we put them on the road. And we have a mentor that kind of helps them through that transition. But we are very excited about the staff that we have and our team members. And we're always looking for not only bus operators, but also for bus attendants to help with some of our special needs students, or bus monitors that help with the behavior of the students on the bus.
So Ralph, I want to thank you. Any final thoughts or comments you would like our parents and students to know?
First couple weeks is a very exciting time for us. Please understand that especially the first week, most everybody takes their, especially elementary school students, to school, and there's a lot of traffic around the school locations, and our buses get caught into that traffic, so it does hinder us from getting and running on time, especially in the afternoon. But just be patient with us. We work those out pretty quickly, and we're very excited about the beginning of the school year.
So am I. So again, I think the key message here is patience in those first few weeks when it comes to buses and transportation. As Ralph mentioned, there's an enormous amount of work that goes on behind the scenes to make sure every child is picked up and dropped off safely and arrives to and from school. So please, parents, just be patient as we work that out. You can reach Ralph and his department at 797-7003. We will have a call center open for the first few weeks of school, manning that and answering any questions you may have. So I just wanted to thank you again, Ralph, and looking forward to the start of a great year, and thank you for tuning in.